Angeles Lakers took care of business and beat the Memphis Grizzlies in 6 games, which is great because now they get 4 days rest and have to await the winner of Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings. Those two teams will play tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. It should be a great game, and the winner takes on the Los Angeles Lakers. This is great because the Lakers would get 4 days rest. Sacramento or the Golden State Warriors would only get a day, I guess technically a day and a half, but would only get like a full day of rest before they have to go play the Lakers for Game 1. Now, both of these teams would have home court advantage, and both of these teams have a very high-powered offense, but neither of these teams have the defense of the Memphis Grizzlies. So I want to break down, and instead of breaking down both teams and having this be like a 30-minute video, I want to break down and start with Sacramento. Tomorrow morning before the game between the Warriors and the Kings, I will do a video on the Golden State Warriors. But I want to start with the home team of the Sacramento Kings. So be sure to check out that video and look forward to that video tomorrow. But sticking with this video, the Sacramento Kings. Now, the Lakers did, throughout this regular season, lose 3 games to 1 against the Sacramento Kings. Now, the Lakers' one game that they won was in Sacramento, and they won 136 to 134. All of the games, the Lakers scored a lot of points. The Lakers scored 136 in their win, 136 to 134. Then they scored 111 in the Sacramento win, 116-111. The other game was 134 Sacramento to 120 Lakers on December 21st. And then the first game that they played was November 11th. That was part of the 2-10 run, and they lost 120 to 114. So again, they were averaging about 17 points, give or take, per game against the Sacramento Kings. Again, Sacramento does not have the defense. They do not have the defense that is equipped. But a couple huge things to note about Sacramento. Yes, they did beat us 3 games to 1, but in 3 of those games, Anthony Davis did not play. And in all 4 of those games was the old team. That was the team that was, with Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook and all of that. So not only did Anthony Davis not play in 3 of those games, but we didn't have the current team that we have with the defense that we currently have, as well as the offensive weapons and, D'Angelo Russell and Rui Hachimura and guys like that. So the regular season record cannot really be a template or even a tool to look into, because I really wanted to kind of look into it and kind of give you some stats okay, well, the Lakers do this, and this, and Sacramento did this, and this, but I can't because the Lakers are an entirely different team and didn't have Anthony Davis for those games. But the one game in which Anthony Davis did play, he dropped 24 and 12 on them, and Thomas Bryant, those were the games that Thomas Bryant was busting Sacramento. He had a 29-point game, a 24-point game, a 19-point game. So Thomas Bryant was giving the Sacramento Kings all kinds of trouble and all kinds of fits. And Thomas Bryant was also the worst defensive center in the league this year. It's not my opinion or an exaggeration. That literally was a fact. He hasn't really played much with Denver, but when he was on the Lakers, that was true. So Anthony Davis should absolutely dominate this matchup. They don't have anybody that's going to be able to contain him. But before I go into the matchups and break that down, one couple things that I have to say in regards to the Kings and their favor, because we have to be fair here, is look, Sacramento is a young team that is hungry with house money, and it's going to be bumping in Sacramento. They are going to be, the whole light the beam thing. Their fans are going to be jumping. These guys really feed off of their fans and off of their home crowd. They also are a team that they're playing with house money. People didn't even think they were going to make the playoffs at the beginning of the season. I did. I made a whole video about how I thought Sacramento would be a top 5 team in the Western Conference, but a lot of people didn't think that this team would beat their playoff drought, and here they are, and they've been very good. They're well coached. They are a very high-powered offense, historically high. They score a lot of points, but they don't play a lot of defense, and they give up a lot of defense. Now, earlier in the series, I got a lot of comments from people that were like, man, I don't know if the Lakers are going to be able to keep up with Sacramento or the Warriors because they're so fast. But couple things to that, because Sacramento does like to play very fast. They love to get up and down the court, shoot a bunch of threes, and they can get hot. They are a team that all 5 of their guys can shoot the 3 ball. Now, Sabonis, he's shot 37% from 3, but very low volume. He averaged about 1 attempt per game, 1.1 attempts per game, but still, he's not a guy that you can just leave wide open and expect him to miss, right? You can't just leave him on an island by himself, right? This is a team that all 5 guys can shoot the 3 ball. They bring in Malik Monk, who knows the Lakers. Granted, he doesn't know this Lakers team, but he's familiar with the Lakers. He's going to want to play the Lakers. He's going to want to show up, right? He played really good in Staples Center, so you know that this is going to be a game for him. He's a guy that can go off and get some buckets. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox, he's going to be a handful. Mr. Clutch. Games are tight. You expect the ball's going to be in his hands and him trying to close out games. We did a great job on Ja Morant, but De'Aaron Fox is more well-rounded. He is. He's just a more well-rounded player. He can knock down the 3 ball. There's a lot that goes into De'Aaron Fox. So this team is a problem offensively. And we're going to have our hands full trying to contain it. It's really going to put our defense to the test, but I do trust our defense to get it done. I do think our defense can do that. But as fast as they like to go up and down the court, the Lakers are leading the playoffs in transition and fast break points. So as fast as the Kings like to go, the Lakers are actually going faster. The Lakers are actually getting better. Sacramento likes to turn the ball over a lot, so do the Warriors, right? It's been a lot of turnovers in that Warriors and Kings series. But another thing that I really want to highlight is you got to keep in mind the Warriors and the Kings are 2 teams that are playing exactly the same way. Exactly. Their entire offensive schemes are exactly the same. All of their defensive schemes are almost exactly the same. And neither of those teams play any defense, really. And so they're not a team that is going to play the same way against us, because we're not going to be trying to play the way that the Golden State Warriors play. So it's going to be a very different series. And again, they don't have anybody to stop LeBron James. Harrison Barnes cannot guard LeBron James. He can't even slow him down. Go look at LeBron James' stats against Harrison Barnes. I don't want to spoil it for people. Go look it up. If you have any questions of like, no, Harrison Barnes is a good defender, he can do a good job. He cannot. They have nobody on that roster that can even slow down LeBron. At least on Memphis, Memphis had a really good defensive team. I mean, LeBron was getting to the rim as much as he wanted in that series, but he also had to go up against, like, Brooks. As much as we like to clown Brooks, talk about Brooks, if you look up Brooks' defensive stats, he's actually a good defender, right? Like, he's not bad. They had the defensive player of the year, like where LeBron was getting hammered. The Sacramento Kings don't have guys like that. They're not going to have that pounding defense and guys that can switch and guys that, like, they just don't. LeBron's going to be able to have his way in this series. And it's going to be almost like a breath of fresh air for LeBron James. It really is, because he's not going to have to fight as hard to get to the basket or get to his spots, because he's going to go up against guys like Harrison Barnes, who he could just move out the way. Or, you know, if they put Keegan Murray on him, oh man, I mean, come on, that guy's not going to be able to slow down LeBron James. He's going to get eaten alive, right? And Anthony Davis, they have no answer for him, but we'll get to him in a minute. My point is that LeBron's going to be able to he should be able to slice and dice this Sacramento team. Sacramento also lacks experience, right? And look, the Lakers, they don't have a world of experience outside of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but pretty much every single player on this roster has been to the playoffs before. Austin Reeves is pretty much the only one that's going to play that hasn't. D'Lo's been to the playoffs a couple times. Rui Hachimura has been to the playoffs a couple times. Obviously, LeBron James had more playoff experience than the entire Memphis Grizzlies team combined. That's going to be the same thing with the Sacramento Kings, right? So Sacramento, like Harrison Barnes has experience in the playoffs, right? He's a guy that's been there. Herter has some when he was on Atlanta, but like they're not like this crazy experienced team. They don't have a LeBron James and Anthony Davis that they can rely on to kind of calm things down in those high intense moments. And you see them against the Warriors. You've seen them on several occasions just kind of get flustered or just kind of like just scramble and lose their cool in moments, right? And they're just younger and more athletic, and they can score more or in more ways than the Warriors can, right? And that's why the Warriors are having their handful with the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento's leading the playoffs in second chance or offensive rebounds, second chance points stuff, and that's because they're just bigger than the Warriors. The Lakers probably would be in the same position if they were playing the Warriors, right? So that's an inflated stat, but the Kings, their offense isn't as limited. They have more guys that could get to the basket. They have more guys that they could dump the ball down to and let them go to work. Again, all 5 guys are a threat in Sacramento where, if you play the Warriors, Draymond Green, you live with it. If he knocks down 8 threes, you live with that. Same thing with Kevon Looney, right? He's not a 3-point threat. You just have to watch them. All of these teams also like to play small, right? Like the Sacramento Kings love to run 4-guard units. So do the Warriors, right? So the Lakers, they're going to have to match that at times. Yes, they can go big, but the Kings' guards are quick, right? Malik Monk is fast. De'Aaron Fox is fast. Herter, not so much. He's kind of more of just a shooter, and he had a really bad series. You'd imagine he would pick it up because he is a good shooter. Harrison Barnes is a guy that can beat you off the dribble and get to the basket. So Lakers are going to have to match up. But those 7 guys, and maybe even winning with the 8th, that should be enough and should be fine to match up well against the Sacramento Kings. I even think Troy Brown, and I actually want to make a video dedicated to Troy Brown because I actually think Troy Brown could be huge in the Sacramento or even the Warriors series. Not offensively, obviously, but just defensively. Another 6'6" defensive wing that can guard that at multiple positions, can switch on multiple positions, has a good wingspan, especially when the Sacramento Kings go to those 4-guard lineups, right? When they go to those 4-guard lineups, you could have a Schroeder, a Reeves, Troy Brown Jr. and Anthony Davis and like a D'Lo or whomever or Rui or whatever. You can match guard wise, right? And that is huge. That is beneficial. But Anthony Davis historically against Sabonis again dominates him. Against the Kings dominates them. Thomas Bryant was dominating the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings had no answer for Thomas Bryant. Anthony Davis, this is a hugely favorable matchup for Anthony Davis. Hugely. They're not going to be able, because they don't, here's the thing. Sacramento doesn't have the perimeter defenders to pack the paint on Anthony Davis. That's the problem. See, the beauty that Memphis had is they could throw Triple J and Tillman on Anthony Davis and leave Vando out wide open because they still had, Ja Morant, Desmond Baines, and Dylan Brooks. Again, as much as we like to clown those guys, still, they are fast. They are solid defenders. They can keep things on the perimeter in check. So they just left Vanderbilt open and made sure that the guard play and LeBron didn't go off, Reeves, D'Lo, we can kind of keep them, intact, right? And then we can double Anthony Davis down low. Sacramento doesn't have those perimeter defenders in order to do that to Anthony Davis. They might try, but they're going to struggle and they're going to get beat a lot if that happens. And as much as the Memphis Grizzlies have the perimeter defense, the Lakers were still able to get past it. D'Angelo Russell was able to weave in and out of the interior, knock down some mid-ranges, all that stuff. Austin Reeves was able to do that, right? Austin Reeves, like De'Aaron Fox isn't going to be able to stop Austin Reeves or D'Angelo Russell. Herter is not going to be able to guard Austin Reeves. Harrison Barnes is not going to be able to guard LeBron James. And then on top of that, Vando loves to cut. He's good slasher. He's good at getting to the basket. And especially when the defender takes their eyes off of him, they probably put Keegan Murray on him. And if that's the case, then Vanderbilt could be very effective on the offensive end because Keegan Murray is an inexperienced defensive player. He's a rookie. So there's a lot of advantages that the Lakers have on the offensive side and the defensive side. And again, Sacramento is a very high-powered offense. We can't underestimate the offense, and they're really going to test the defense. But the Lakers are the problem that the Warriors are having is they cannot stop Sacramento from scoring, right? And Sacramento is also getting a lot of second chance points because the Warriors cannot rebound and they don't have the size to match up to the Kings. The Lakers aren't going to have those problems both ways. The Lakers will be able to get stops against Sacramento, and they're not going to give up as many offensive rebounds and second chance points to the Sacramento Kings. So that is going to be massive and is going to be a huge factor because as the games are tight, because it's the playoffs, and all of the Sacramento and Laker games were close games. All of them except for the one where they lost 134 to 120. It's the only game. Other than that, all the other games were really close. And they were all decided by, a handful of points. So if that's the case, which very likely could be the case, but again, that was the old team. That's not the new Lakers team. But let's just say that it still stays as close games. The Lakers, you trust to get the stops down the stretch, and Sacramento isn't going to be able to. Sacramento isn't able to stop the Warriors. The Warriors just get into these stretches where they can't hit shots. That's always been the Warriors, though. They kind of go in these streaks, right? Like you'll see the Warriors, they'll knock down like 3 or 4 straight threes, and then they like cool off for a little bit, and then all of a sudden Steph will knock down some heroic shots, and Clay gets hot, and you're just like, man, right? And it's just like, but it's like these barrages rather than like consistent scoring, where Sacramento, they can't stop the Warriors. I mean, all these games have been high-scoring affairs. The Lakers are going to be a high-scoring affair, but they have the defense to where they can just lock in, contain De'Aaron Fox, slow down Sabonis, and you win. When Malik Monk's in the game, you just got to slow him down too. You can throw Jared Vanderbilt on De'Aaron Fox. You can throw, Austin Reeves on Malik Monk. You can have Anthony Davis down in the post in the perimeter as a spy, right? Rui Hachimura, again, is going to be a huge factor in this series because they don't have anybody that can guard him. They don't have anyone that matches up to his size. It's the same issue as the Grizzlies. The Lakers' front seven have mismatches across the board. And Sacramento, their front 8, I guess, Alex Len isn't going to do nothing, right? Like, what is Alex Len going to do? I mean, he's been solid for Sacramento for what they need, but he's not a guy that's going to be very likely the difference maker in this series. And then their other 2 are guards. They have, obviously Malik Monk, and then I'm blanking on the other guard's name. But anyway, my point is that like the 8 guys that they have are simply 2 guards and then a backup center, where the Lakers have a guard, a forward. We have other forwards in the reserve. Like, we have more guys that we can throw at. Lyles is also another guy that they play at sometimes that I could see them getting some burn. But like, if they go small, they're going to get eaten alive, right? Because they've been able to go small against the Warriors because the Warriors are the Warriors. Mitchell is it just popped into my head, sorry. Mitchell is the guy that I was thinking, right? They've been playing Mitchell a lot in this series. I don't know how much he plays in the Lakers series because it's going to be a different series, but regardless, the Lakers have the advantages. They just need to get it done. Sacramento, going to be an issue offensively, but they have nowhere near the defense, which if the Lakers get through the second round, which I truly believe that they do. If the Lakers get through the second round, I really believe that we make it out of the West. I really do, because we will have already seen the best defense that we will possibly see. And if we play the Kings, we will have seen the best offense we could possibly see. Denver and the Phoenix Suns, neither of those teams have the offense of output that the Sacramento Kings have. And neither of those teams have anywhere close to the defense that the Grizzlies have. So the Lakers basically would have an understanding for both. So that would be a good matchup, period. But as far as Sacramento, if we play them, I want to see how they play first, and before I give an actual prediction. But the Lakers should win this series if they play Sacramento. They should win this in 5 or 6 if they're locked in, if they're focused, if we can get 4 early games that we saw against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Lakers win this in probably 5. They should win it in 5. They just match up really well against Sacramento. I don't see Sacramento having any chance. I just don't see them beating the Lakers in 4 straight games. I could see them maybe making things tough and winning 2. I just think the Lakers, you're going to see a game, you're going to see a series where the Lakers are just too much for the Kings to handle. I really do. And I just think the Kings are going to get worn down, and the Lakers are just going to, because it's going to be easier. It's going to be a lot easier for the Lakers to generate buckets than it will be for Sacramento. But I do think you'll have that game where Sacramento just kind of shoots the lights out, and I think you'll have that game where the Lakers fall asleep. That's probably what will end up happening, and therefore, I think we win in 6. I'm hoping that the Lakers have no games where they fall asleep, and then it's just that one game where Sacramento shoots the lights out, Lakers win in 5. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Again, look forward to my Warrior breakdown tomorrow. Figured split these up, but let me know.